Alright, welcome back to another episode of Tread Talk. Man, first of all, let me start off by saying this episode is being filmed very early in the morning because I have things to do. But I want to make sure I get an episode out to y'all before my day got started. So, with that being said, let's give a special shout out to our sponsor, Mr. Alky. Alky stands for Always Love and Know Yourself Water, okay? And if you don't know, there's a QR code on the back that you can scan. And basically, you find mental health resources, things like that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And honestly, y'all, I think I gotta start off with the recap. Good Lord. Man, I realized something with these clips. Y'all do not play about Michael Jackson. I said one thing about Michael Jackson in the last episode. And if you watch what I said that he is an amazing artist. I love him. But he's one of those artists that, his fame outshines any of the controversy he's been in. And I feel like with some artists, it just depends on going back and forth. But people in my comments like, do your research, do this, do that. Don't talk about Michael Jackson. And I mean, I'm a fan. I'm telling y'all, I'm a fan of him. I was just using him as an example of someone who has been an artist who has been through it, and people still don't obviously care about it, whether guilty or not. Like, that's crazy. But let's go ahead and just get into this podcast real for real. I'm gonna be real. I was having this conversation last night with somebody, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I would honestly be a corn star if I didn't have morals, right? I would be slinging that iron. And at one point, I thought about it. But let's be real here, right? Because I am a videographer, I feel like my content would be amazing. Like 6K thrashing at 6K. Could y'all imagine? Like if like a videographer really took that stuff serious, I would have cinema quality everything. Like, I'm not gonna cap. I mean, everything would be like boom, boom, boom. Cinematic movie trailers leading up to it, everything. And honestly, it's not a bad idea. Now I think about it. But no, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. But yeah, man, I feel like honestly, I want to get a girl who does OnlyFans on here because I want to know like what that's like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Having yourself and your body out there, but just like having it out there, but also still having a normal life. But yeah, and fellas, I want to know, like, can you date a girl with an OnlyFans? Because here's my point on it, right? If you are keyword, if you are successful and you got it because you just on there just selling your pics, doing like videos, do what you gotta do, but you wasn't getting thrashed at no point. We cool. You know what I'm saying? We can make it work. But if you were here doing collabs and meetups and everything else, I'm good. You can keep it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and honestly, I don't think it's about that part. I think it's the part where it's like the ones who do that, they don't stop once they get in relationships. They just be like, oh, you gotta understand what I'm doing for work. So you mean tell me I take you to work and your job is you getting thrashed? No, shorty. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. I refuse to do that. But yeah, man, I couldn't do it. I feel like when it comes to thrashing, that is exclusive between me and my partner. When we are together, I don't care. I don't want to hear about no work. I don't want to hear about it pays the bills. Because no, you can find somebody else to do that. Respectfully. But yeah. Well, I actually want to switch topics though. Again, I know I'm all over the place this morning. But I had a list. Let me pull out my list of things. Oh yeah. Honestly, I want to go into favorite movies because, like I said, I am a videographer. I do have like a lot of good film takes as well. but I feel like I've kind of not done a lot of film stuff or on this podcast, and that's my fault. So I wanted to talk about favorite movies, right? My favorite movie growing up was Holes. I loved Holes. Stanley Yelnats, obviously Shia LaBeouf, Zero, Cleo Thomas. Like, I love that movie, and not only do I love that movie, but I know a lot of the lore pertaining to that movie. And I honestly say that's just a movie for me that has stood the test of time. I saw that they did recently, like I think it was like a 20-year anniversary, like a year ago or so, year or two ago, may have been a minute ago. But yeah, I love Holes. There's so many different little things in Holes that like people don't, like don't know are still relevant to this day. Like, what did she say? She was like, "I'm tired of this, Grandpa." He was like, "That's too damn bad." And I mean, for that to be honestly in a kids movie, even though it's just damn, but it's just like that scene, the topics that they were touching on with like racism, in that time period that it took like that, Sam and all that stuff took place in. I mean that's crazy. Like you don't really see that in too many Disney movies for one, and movies at all. And I know Holes was a book first, and actually I read the book as well. Not only as a kid, but actually later as an adult, just because when you go back and reread things and rewatch things, you can, like see have like a whole different perspective. And I honestly can say this, shout out to Disney for, I would say there are differences, and some little minor differences in the book as well as the movie, but they really kept a lot of it the same, and they gave the author, his creative rights to do what he seemed fit. So yeah, and I feel like that movie put on a lot of not put on, but it had some major stars. Like I said, Shia, Cleo. All right, y'all. I got a lot of water. Okay, and let me tell you why. This is actually not no regular water. This is Alky water. And what's the difference? Alky water is a water bottle company with a message. Okay, on the back of every bottle there's a QR code. You can scan it and get mental health resources and everything like that. Now you may be wondering, why do I have the sponsorship? I talk a lot of crazy stuff on this podcast, and my throat just get dry. I'm not gonna lie. It's closed. Yeah, that's fine. But anyways, back to the topic. Get Alky water today. All right, but yeah, man, Holes, dude, crazy movie, great movie, my all-time favorite movie. So yeah, I don't know, but speaking of movies, and I feel like I couldn't talk about I couldn't talk about film without including this one, Sinners. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of late to like the whole Ryan Coogler bandwagon. I didn't watch Fruitvale Station at that originally when it came out. I'm not gonna hold nobody, but as you know, I've been learning about directors and stuff like that. I did go and watch all the Ryan Coogler films, but so that when I say this, I just want you guys to know I have a little bit of backstory. I did my history and stuff like that. But Senators, man, with that whole recently thing at the awards show with Michael B. Jordan, and the guy who played, dang, what was his name? Delta Slim? I think that's it. Yeah, Delta Slim. That's crazy. I feel like people have Tourette's. I've met people with Tourette's. I've seen people with Tourette's, and like you cannot something you can't speak on because if they have it, it's like, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna really. Jeez, alarms going off this morning, but told you I'm up here early. But I'm not gonna really speak on the whole fact that what he said, because of Tourette's, right? I'm more like, dude, you couldn't just simply apologize. Like nothing has really the Academy, the award show host came over and apologized on his behalf, but like like dudes just saying excuse after excuse when it's just simply like, I feel like if it was Tourette's or something like that, you could have just been like, hey, sorry, I had this crazy outburst. It's not right. It's in a bad phrase. I'm sorry. And publicly, privately, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not sure what they did in private, if he did anything in private, but what you don't do is you keep adding fuel to the fire. It's like once you say one thing or something goes wrong, don't just sit there and try to defend yourself. Just acknowledge it and move on. For example, y'all, I got in trouble for my clips. I did. Oh, I did. And the see thing about my clips is like, I know I'm gonna piss somebody off. I know what I be saying is going to piss. I'm not talking about making people in the comments mad. I could care less what y'all think. I'm talking about people in my life mad and upset. And last night, like I said, I had a conversation and I was like, you know what? I was real. I was like, look, there's 2 videos that got me in trouble. I'm going to be real. The Valentine's Day video, okay. Understandable. I take full responsibility for that one. I'm sorry, love. And I apologize. And there's another video I was like, you mad at that one? That one wasn't even about nothing. The other one I could understand, but the other one, nah, it wasn't even about it. So like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? But no, like, you know, you gotta just apologize. And I gotta tell her like, hey, look, I'm on podcast time. You know, there's things that's gonna be said. There's things that's like, you know, I'm gonna talk about. I have no filter. That's the whole point of Tread Talk. I didn't start this to be censored, but I can respect what you're saying, and I can say, okay, what that topic that I did say or that thing I did say, maybe push the agenda a little too far, especially because it may have or may have not been a personal attack. But I don't know. I feel like with podcasts though, you kind of gotta like be yourself, you know. Again, I wouldn't want to start a podcast without having like this is my form of like my outlet to the world, my outlet to y'all. Like I'm not gonna sit here and censor myself. I'm not gonna sit here and be careful what I say because of, you know, people in my life. Like I can be respectful though, but I'm not doing like I didn't start this to become PC or, you know, stuff like that. And it don't matter if it's a sponsorship, a girl, whatever. When you want to be part of Tread Talk, hey, you just gotta take what comes with it. I'm gonna stand on that 10 toes down. You feel me? But yeah, man, I think for the sake of this morning and this being a morning show, we're gonna wrap it up early, but I do want to know what's y'all favorite movie, honestly. I like Holes. I like all the Hunger Games. I like Jeez. I'm a nerd. Actually, I love Goodfellas. Like I love mob movies. I do. I love it all. So I want to know though, like what's y'all favorite go-to movie? What's y'all comfort movie? Yeah, but I'm actually ending kind of early today. Shout out Alky Water. Shout out to everyone. And I do have some more stuff lined up for the podcast, and that's why it's like weird. Still filming. I can't say too much, but just know it's going to go up even more once I do the next move I gotta make. It might be today even. Once I do that, and y'all gonna be entertained. So thank y'all for supporting. If y'all already supporting, I do appreciate it. But without further ado, Tread Talk out. Bye.